Do you procrastinate on making your YouTube videos? I used to for months at a time. But then I discovered the 4-step system that allowed me to 10x my productivity and post 3 videos every single week. And I'm going to share it with you right now. So the plan for this video is to adjust your mindset, clarify the big picture, and specify the details, and then at the end we're going to apply the things that I'm going to be teaching you. And so let's get right into it. And so first we need to understand, why bother changing? Why would you bother stop procrastinating? Like, why can't you just not make a YouTube video? Why can't you just not post? Why can't you just continue playing video games or scrolling Instagram or scrolling Facebook? Like, why bother changing? Like, what's your purpose? What's your why? And all of you have dreams. All of you have things that you really want. And let's be honest with ourselves. Without life can feel kind of pretty empty without growth and purpose. And so, do you want to achieve your purpose? Do you want to find your purpose? Do you want to grow into the person that you are meant to be? And and what does that look like? And you probably have these goals because your current life is not the life that you dreamt of. And so let's be very clear about this. We all are trying, we all desire something different. And so you can be more than what you are now. We all desire something different, and we all have the capacity to grow into it. And your actions will shape your relationships, your self-esteem, and your overall, life. And so imagine how it feels to not be able to trust yourself. Maybe some of you are feeling that right now. And it's like, oh, I wish I could trust myself when I say, I'm going to do this. I'm going to accomplish X. But it's just so... but I just don't do what I say I'm going to do. Like, having that trust issue with yourself, that runs deep in your psychology, in your subconscious mind. That can mess up your self-esteem, which can adjust, how you approach your relationships, how you approach problems in life, and it can really spread into a lot of different things that you don't want it to spread to. And so reasons to change is you actually have goals and you're actually capable of reaching them if you act accordingly. And so why not reach your goals? Two, you don't want to live life not being able to trust yourself and not being able to actually know that, say, hey, when I say I'm going to do something, I don't run away to scroll Instagram to make myself to de-stress. I go do the thing. And that power will emanate throughout the rest of your life, your relationships, your job, your family life, your parenting skills. Like, it's very important. And so whatever your goals are, reach them, fight for them. It's important, because if you don't, what else do you have? Exactly. And maybe you do have something else. So comment down below if you have something else other than your goals and other than maintaining the status quo. I think we would all love to grow in our relationships and our mindset and the things that we're capable of doing and the way that we perceive ourselves. And so let's get after it. Let's make a change and let's get going. And so step 1, it's a mindset shift, okay? Perfectionism is your enemy, all right? Failure is part of learning. A lot of times when it comes to creating overwhelm and stress, I'm just feeling like, oh, there's too much to do. I don't know what to do. Let me scroll Facebook really quick to get to feel better. And it's so often automatic. You need to understand that as a video creator, perfectionism is your enemy, because learning how to make videos requires you to make a lot of videos. And you will waste years of your life if all you do is just plan and try to write out and perfect the perfect video formula without actually making videos. Done is better than perfect. In order to get good, you have to be bad first. You cannot learn to make fantastic videos that get you subscribers without practicing making videos. And in order to practice making videos, you have to make videos. But you don't make videos because you're too busy trying to create the best plan, which is ridiculous because a plan is useless unless you use it. So for you, the plan is actually an excuse to not do the work, and it's what's holding you back. Now, I've created a document for you guys to use to keep track of all of this so you don't have to keep referring back to this video. If you're watching this on school, it's right down there. If you're watching this on YouTube, hit the link in the description, join the community if you're qualified, and go to the classroom and hit on this module. It'll be right there. It's yours for the keeping. I hope it helps you. Let's keep going. The imperfect plan plus imperfect action beats the perfect plan with no action every single time. I guarantee you, you could spend 3 months writing out the perfect plan. I'll just go and make 50 videos and I'll get more subscribers, more views than you, and at the end of it, I'll have a better plan than you. Because my plan will be based on actual experience and actual data from the YouTube algorithm, while you'll just be writing things out and guessing. All right? And don't forget that procrastination is a habit, not an identity. You must break it from your identity. You do not ever say, I am a procrastinator. No, you're not. You're a beast. You're powerful. Okay? You do the things that you say you're going to do. You're just not acting like it right now. You just have a habit of procrastinating. But you can break that habit. And that's what we're going to be working on in this video. So, we need to go deeper into the analysis paralysis loop, okay? Here's what happens. You set a goal, and you put pressure on yourself, which creates stress, right? You say, I am going to make 10 YouTube videos this month. Fantastic. That's a great goal. I approve. And then, but you feel stressed, right? It's like, oh, I have this big goal. Oh, what do? I'm stressed now. It's like, oh, I need to make a plan. I need to learn. And then you start binge watching all these YouTube videos on how to make YouTube videos, and you consume the info. It's like, oh, that feels good. And then you try to make the perfect plan, but you're still not sure. You're still like, well, maybe this will work, but this YouTuber said that, but Think Media said that, but then Daryl Eve said that, but then Alex Hormozi said this. I'm still not sure. I should binge watch more YouTube videos to make a different plan. But oh no, I just learned something that invalidates the plan I just had. Well, I guess I need to make a new plan and repeat. And guess what? You don't make any videos, which means you don't get any real practice in, which means you will not grow as a YouTuber, as a video creator. And this loop can go on for months. It went on for months, I tell you. For me, personally, I was stuck in this exact loop for months. I would not post a video. I would binge watch videos on how to make videos and continuously write out the perfect plan or try to perfect my plan. This is a deadly, deadly loop that will destroy your ability and chances of ever making it on YouTube. We need to break this loop. And the way to do that is to change your mindset and understand that imperfect action is better than a perfect plan. Public failure is required to make you into the most successful version of you on YouTube. And so if you're thinking, oh, I don't want to post bad YouTube videos, I don't want to be embarrassed, suck it up. It's necessary. I posted hundreds of bad videos, got laughed at, had people make fun of me, and guess what? I got 1,000 subs and I got monetized. And then I started a new channel and now it's growing. Are my videos perfect? No, but they get better every single time. People really are starting to resonate with me and starting to follow me and appreciate the things that I say. Are my videos perfect? No. Is it still sometimes embarrassing how sometimes I make mistakes and does it matter? No. Because I'm growing and I'm actually making progress. Because I decided in my mind that being imperfect publicly and allowing myself to be embarrassed and deciding, you know what? That doesn't matter. What matters is that I make progress and I learn from every single mistake that I make. And if it's public, who cares? I want my life to be a symbol of growth, not a lie or illusion of perfection. Change your mindset. Imperfection is necessary to learn, to practice. And since you're going to be a YouTuber, you have to accept that being imperfect on camera, publicly on the internet, it's just part of the game. It's just part of the game. So accept it. Now let's get to work. Instead, what you're going to do is you're going to make a decent plan. You're going to actually do the plan, which means post videos. You're going to fail. Those videos will not be very good. And then you will analyze those videos and learn from your failure, make a new plan. And then you will do that plan. And then you will fail. And then you will learn from that failure. You will improve. And you will repeat. And you'll just keep doing that until eventually you don't suck anymore. Because you will actually know what you were doing, because you actually have experience. Action creates clarity. Excuse me, not the other way around. Action creates clarity, not the other way around. You do not need clarity in order to act. You need to act in order to acquire clarity. And as a YouTuber, that necessarily means that you need to post videos that are not going to be very good, be publicly embarrassed about it, shrug it off, and learn from it, and make a new plan, and then continue doing that until you acquire clarity from real experience and real data from the YouTube algorithm on how to make good videos. But you'll never get that if you don't start posting bad videos. And so now, the rest of this video is we're going to be discovering how to beat overwhelm, how to create a system that allows you to post at least 1 to 2 videos per week. Let's get into it. Step 2, you must discover your categories. You need to know what you don't know, and we need to create categories of what it is that we need to do, because there are different types of work for each task. And we need to figure out what went wrong and where we need to improve. So we need to break it down into different categories that are smaller than just, I need to make a YouTube video. You need to break it down into something smaller in order to defeat overwhelm. And so here's what it looks like. I have broken my YouTube creation system down into the following categories: title, thumbnails, hook, script, recording, editing, and uploading. And now I schedule my time according to those categories. So when I'm scheduling out my calendar, I do not write make YouTube videos. I write work on titles, edit thumbnails, do thumbnail ideation, set up for recording, or record. It's more specific. This takes away the ambiguity, gives us clarity, and allows us to actually approach the task with intention. And that starts with planning and scheduling. And so defeating overwhelm is all about breaking it into smaller steps that are clear and easy to start and predictable, so that you don't feel overwhelmed by it anymore. But the problem you're having is you don't know all the steps to make a perfect YouTube video yet, right? This is what I figured out. Check this out. You need to start by having fun. Notice what I have here. We have the different steps in creating a YouTube video, but I've also split that up into 3 different categories to allow you to create even more clarity. Look what we have here. We have play/learning, and then we have prep, and we have actual work. The play/learning section is where you just open up Photoshop and start watching YouTube videos about how to use Photoshop and play around and try to make a thumbnail that's similar. There's no pressure. There is no deadline. You don't have to create something perfect by the end of it. You're just playing around with the thumbnail software that you want to use. Why is this so important? It's because it allows your brain to create categories of how to do XYZ, how to do this, how to do that, and a clearer picture of how to make thumbnails starts to emerge from play. The problem is if you just go into it without knowing how to do it and then set a deadline on yourself right away and say, I need to learn how to make thumbnails and make a thumbnail in the next 2 hours in order for because my video comes out tomorrow, the stress is not going to help you. You're going to feel stressed, you're going to feel overwhelmed, and then you're going to check your phone for Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok, and you're not going to get the thumbnail done. You're going to feel badly, and then you won't have a thumbnail for your video that you want to release tomorrow. And so, very important that when you're starting out and creating the categories and learning how to do something, that you implement play. You make it fun. You free your mind from any stress or expectation to perform, and you just go and have fun. You explore, you go on an adventure, you play with the software, you click that button and click that button. And another tip, use ChatGPT and ask it questions on how to do things with the software that you're using. That works so well. I have learned so many things using that method. If you're in Photoshop or Premiere Pro or CapCut or Canva or whatever software you're using to create your thumbnails or edit your videos, ask ChatGPT how to do things. It will tell you, and it will most likely be correct. Instant solution. It's so much better than searching through Google Forms, I guarantee you. Now, the next step is, now that you have played with it and you have a clearer picture of how the process works, you understand how to create templates and cut yourself out and add words to it. And now what you can do is you can start to prepare. Failure to plan is planning to fail. And so when you are going to set up your work task and you say, I am going to make a thumbnail for this video tomorrow and I have 2 hours to do it, you don't want to approach that 2 hours with nothing ready. That's planning to fail. And so the day before, what you're going to do is you're going to prepare. You're going to open up Photoshop and you're going to grab all of the different elements and put them in Photoshop and have them all there and ready. You're going to take a photo of yourself and put it into Photoshop before you must begin the work. This is a prep session. And so now what we've done is we've broken the YouTube system process down by things that need to be done. We got title, thumbnail, hook, script, recording, editing, and uploading, and metadata. But now we've also broken it up by the type of work that needs to be done to get us to the end goal. First, you must learn, and the easiest way to learn is to play. And then you must actually do the work. But the greatest way to guarantee that you actually start doing the work and create momentum and actually get it done is to prepare the night before. And so now, when you're scheduling your calendar and saying, I need to make this video and I need to do that, it's like, oh, now you can decide very specifically on what and how you need to take that step. So for example, if you've never used a recording software before, it's probably best to schedule a time, maybe an hour, to play with it. Try to record several videos of yourself just talking about random things so that you get a feel for the software. Because I guarantee you, little problems will show up here and there. You'll have to fix them. And that's part of the play. And so you'll get over that learning hump faster without having the stress of performance. And then from that, you can prepare, and then you can schedule time to actually record the video. I promise you guys, this works incredibly well. Another thing you want to do is you need to be patient. You can only do one thing at a time. And so focus on it and do it well. And so now that we've demystified the system and we've broken it up by different tasks, and we've actually split it up by different types of work to help us get through, that initial phase of lack of clarity and not understanding what to do, now we can actually deploy patience and say, oh, I understand now that in order to make a video, I need to do all of these very specific things, and I know what they are, and now I can schedule them accordingly. Having specificity in what you're going to do makes it easier to initiate doing that thing without procrastinating. It's this lack of clarity and overwhelm that pushes you that creates stress and makes you want to procrastinate and do something else. Right? And so step 3 is specifying details. You want to understand the types of work and plan accordingly. And this is actually very, very subtle and something that I've noticed I started doing without realizing it. And I think I figured out how to properly articulate it so that it's beneficial for you guys. And so here's what I mean. Um, Once you have everything that I've written out for you, in the last slide, there's actually different types of work, and different types of work require slightly different kinds of approaches to make sure that you don't procrastinate on them. And so there's creative work, and then there's just boring, repetitive manager work. And then there's a split with that in terms of how many tasks there are. And so, for example, creative work, high level, it's one goal, but many creative tasks. And so, an example of this would be thumbnail ideation. There's one goal, is to collect ideas for your thumbnails, but there are many tasks in it. You have to scroll YouTube to get inspiration. You have to grab the thumbnails and put them in Milanote in order to have a look at your spreadsheet. You need to open up Photoshop. You need to write down different ideas. You need to draw it out. You need to think about it. You need to try different things. You need to change the background color a couple of times. You need to take different photos of yourself. It's one goal, but a bunch of different tasks. Whereas low-level maker is like one creative task. So, for example, one creative task is like, I need to write this specific script right now in 1 hour. That's one task. Open up the document and type on it until the script is done. Just one task in order to achieve the goal. Manager, same thing, pretty self-explanatory, except it's just non-creative tasks, such as, filling out metadata, filling out keywords, optimizing XYZ, charging your camera batteries, making sure that your lights work, cleaning up your background, cleaning your room, cutting your hair to make sure that you look good for the camera. It's the same thing, you have many goals that are manager tasks or maybe just one goal. And so each one has a slightly different approach. Fundamentally, they're all close to the same, but I found that, having this nuanced approach is really, really helpful for me. So for a maker high level approach, this is something like ideation and thumbnail ideas. It's one goal, but it has many tasks. So how do I approach this task so that I can stay focused? One, I can actually start the task and I don't procrastinate, and then I stay focused on that task and complete it. Well, there's a few things that I do. Step one is actually setting up a larger chunk of time so that my mind can be free, right? So when I'm scheduling my thumbnail ideation time, I don't schedule it in 15 or 30 minutes. That's not enough time for the juices to start flowing and my mind to start, creating ideas. I'll schedule 90 minutes to 2 hours for thumbnail ideation. I'll have YouTube open. I'll have Photoshop open. I'll have Milanote open, which, by the way, make sure you get to level 2 because I'm going to show you exactly how to do this in the next level in my school community, which is linked in the description. I'll have multiple different tabs open. I'll have a notepad. I'll be drawing. I'll be searching YouTube videos, grabbing them, copying, pasting, comparing and contrasting, asking ChatGPT how to create certain effects, like a lot of different tasks going at once. And, I need my mind to be very, very free in order to free flow and just go with the vibe and create and come up with ideas. And so having a larger chunk of time allows me to do that. And so typically, I personally get very creative in the evenings, not in the mornings. And so I typically will schedule a larger portion of time for this in the evenings, and I'll get the more specific tasks done in the morning. And this allows me to switch between different categories whenever I feel like it's needed. And also, another thing is I love using instrumental music to help my mind stay focused. Not music with lyrics. Sometimes I can stay focused with lyrics, but generally instrumental music, lo-fi, is a great way to go. Also, locking out distractions. If I don't need my phone for thumbnail ideation, and so I put it away. Right? I already have enough distractions by having YouTube open and checking all of the looking at all of my competitors and seeing their videos. Um, it's hard enough to not be distracted by that. And so also the music, having the music come from my phone and not YouTube means that my earbuds are on my phone, but my phone's way over there, just playing a lo-fi playlist, which means I can't hear any of the videos that I might be tempted to click on. And so now I can have YouTube open, but there's actually this barrier to me starting to binge watch videos and getting distracted because I can't hear it. I would have to get up and go over there, grab my phone, disconnect the Bluetooth, reconnect the Bluetooth to my laptop, and then listen to it. And having that little barrier where it blocks out my ability to actually watch videos on YouTube um, is incredibly useful for me to stay distracted and not to look at through YouTube and get inspiration for thumbnails, but to not actually start watching the videos and stay on task. And then, of course, the mind only can do this for a certain amount of time. And so typically, I might get bored and burnt out and not be able to do it anymore around 90 minutes or so, depending on the day and how much energy I have. It can happen between an hour and 2 hours. Going for a walk is a game changer. If you're distracted, go for a walk. If you have cravings, go for a walk. If you feel lost, go for a walk. If you lack clarity on what to do next, go for a walk. Going for a walk is a killer move. It's such a good idea. So manager, high level. This could be something like filling out the tags and setting up software and creating folders to have all of your different video templates and photo parts in. Yeah, for this one, you don't want to have a large amount of time. You only want to have enough time to do what is required. And you can do these tasks in random order sometimes, especially when there's a lot of tasks and they're kind of um, all similar. But also, ordering them can also be a good thing for you as well. And so you can do it in random order, but also creating a very specific order so that you can race the clock. Something for this. This is where I'll actually use music lyrics, because if the tasks are boring, such as organizing my folders for Photoshop and Premiere Pro, you need to have some form of entertainment. So again, having a fun favorite music playlist or podcast you're listening to keep your mind entertained while you're doing this boring manager type work is very, very useful. And of course, you can actually set a timer and race the clock and be like, okay, I gotta organize my folders, set up these tags, write out all my keywords, and readjust my YouTube descriptions and create a template with ChatGPT. 20 minutes, race the clock. Make it a race, like make it fun. You'll find that these little tasks, they get done very, very fast when you just put in some entertainment in your ears and race the clock. At least for me, that's what happens. So maker, low level. These are very specific creative endeavors. So for example, hook and script writing. I will generally schedule a medium-sized block of time because my brain has freedom to roam and be creative, but there's also not enough. There's also a limit on the time because when I'm very, very focused and I'm working on one task only, my brain starts to drain of energy relatively quickly. And so being incredibly focused takes more energy. And so generally, I can only be very, very focused on one thing, as in like no tabs open. There's only one document. I'm listening to instrumental music and I'm just typing away, trying to get the script done as fast as possible. I could generally only keep that pace up for like an hour to 90 minutes before my brain is like, okay, I'm done. Let's go for a walk. And so you don't need as big a chunk of time to do that. Also, this kind of work expands to fill the time that you give it. And so giving yourself even slightly less time can actually create a good kind of pressure where it's like, okay, I only have this amount of time. Let's get to work really fast. And then you get to momentum, and then you get into flow state, and you'll find that you can actually get a lot done. Another thing for script writing in particular is it's also good to change your environment. I will take my laptop to Starbucks and again listen to instrumental music on my phone, not the laptop. That way I can put my phone in my pocket and then just type away on the laptop and get the script done relatively quickly. And also, you can schedule short breaks depending on what your skill level is. Remember, this is something that your brain can grow into. Your brain's like a muscle, right? So if you can't focus on writing one script for an hour yet, that's fine. Maybe figure out what your limit is, and then just schedule little breaks slightly later than that. So if your limit is 10 minutes, schedule a break for 12 minutes like after. And so try to push your limit each time and then give yourself a 5-minute break to scroll Instagram. Set a timer on your phone and say, okay, I've got 5 minutes to check Instagram, check TikTok and Facebook. And when the timer goes up, you turn it off, you go back to instrumental music, put it in your pocket, and then you try to beat your record, right? Like what I'm telling you right now, this is how you can learn to focus on script writing very, very quickly. Gonna have massive modules on this in my free course, which of course is coming up soon. And so, yeah, little short breaks are really, really great to keep you from getting too burnt out right away. But you'll find that over time, if you apply this method and try to beat your best time for focus, your brain will figure out how to focus on one specific task for longer. And that'll be very, very useful for you when it comes to actually getting your scripts done and actually getting these things off the ground and getting the videos completed. And so that's very important for that. Manage your low level. That's pretty simple. Like you just have one task to do, such as clean your room for a shoot. I don't know what that means. Set aside, just set aside enough time to do one task, like 5 minutes, 10 minutes, schedule it, race the clock, make it a competition, and listen to your favorite music or podcast while you're doing. Again, another thing that you can do is you can try to schedule a lot of these boring, meaningless tasks all in one block so that you just hop from one to the other and get them all done. I generally don't recommend allowing yourself to get distracted by just one, menial task like cleaning your room or, taking a shower or going to the gym. If I'm going to do stuff that doesn't contribute to my business and my videos, I try to group it all together in one spot. That way, it's not really, it's all done and it's not a distraction from the work that I actually need to be doing. Right, and so now we've made it to step 4, is to start the night before. Guys, this is so important. It's incredibly, incredibly powerful. Once you have gone through play and you've built out a system and you understand that for thumbnails you need XYZ, for recording you need XYZ, and your setup is going to be XYZ, now is the time where you start, scheduling preparation for the work. And so you don't just schedule a time slot to do the work, you actually schedule a time slot to prepare to do the work. So that when you actually show up to do the work, it's ready to go. And you can enter into that flow state and get your momentum incredibly quickly. And so the night before is an incredibly useful and beneficial time. I generally try to plan out almost my whole day the night before. Sometimes things come up, my day changes, and so I can adjust it as I go. But generally, I want to have a very, very clear vision on what my day is going to be the night before. And especially if I want to start the hardest task right away. I want to eat that frog. If you had to eat a frog, would you wait the rest of the day and not be able to enjoy the rest of your day knowing that you'd have to eat the frog, or would you just get it done so that you can move on to the rest of the day? Of course, it makes sense to eat the frog, right? And so, schedule the hardest stuff first. Get it done out of the way. Everything else will seem easy. There'll be less stress. It'll be easier to slip into, focus mode, and you'll find that you get a lot of tasks done a lot quicker with that. Breaking down tasks so they're small enough to start easily is another big one, especially if it's something that you're still not 100% sure on how to do. Figuring out the first 1 to 3 steps and writing down the first 3 steps is a great way to make the barrier of entry a lot smaller, so that when you actually sit down to do the task, it's like, oh, I'm not sure what I'm doing here yet, but oh, look, I wrote out 3 steps. Step 1, open Photoshop. Great. Step 2, create template. Oh, that's easy because it's already pre-saved. Step 3, open and import the items that I'm going to be using. Oh, great. Well, oh, look, everything's set up now. I'll just drag this here, drag this there. A lot easier to get into flow state and create momentum when you have a very, very specific, clear 1 60-second, 2-minute, 3-step process to start the process. And then, of course, to start doing those 3 steps, use the 5-second rule. The 5-second rule is where it's like, okay, I have this chunk of time, it's an hour, and then I have a general idea of how it's going to go and what the goal is, and I have the first 3 steps that I need to do to initiate the action. Now I've sat down, everything's ready, I go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, step 1. And you're off to the races, right, guys? This works so well. So well. Like, I had to finish preparing this video, the slides for it, and this is literally what I did. I set myself a short time limit of just 15 minutes to finish up, and then, of course, your work expands to fill the time you allow for it. So I said, hey, I'm going to start recording this video, whether these slides are ready or not. I need to have them ready. So in that 15 minutes, I worked, and I got them ready, and I got them done. And then I had an hour to record this video. The video is good, an hour and a half to record it. This video will probably be, almost an hour long. And so it's like, okay, I need to get ready. Let me go to the washroom, take a deep breath, do some squats, get ready, and then 3, 2, 1, go. Hit record, take a deep breath, and then start the video. And then start recording, and guess what? This task is getting done. I'm getting it done right now using the exact same methods that I'm sharing with you right now. Side note, another thing to do is to drink electrolytes and some raw honey. This stuff is brain fuel. Your brain needs hydration. It needs minerals. It needs vitamins. It needs electrolytes to run optimally. And honey is pure glucose. And so it can go straight to your brain. Your brain runs on glucose. That's its energy source. And so, at least for most of you, some of you might have ketones, but that's beside the point. Your brain runs on glucose. And so if you're feeling a little bit sluggish, you're like, oh, I can't think. Like, take a little bit of honey. I got my honey right here, right? This is raw, all natural, all organic honey. I take a little spoonful, put it on my tongue, absorb it, then I typically feel a little bit burst of creative energy after that. And this can help also just getting good sleep is another great thing, obviously. But yeah, drinking electrolytes and making sure you're hydrated and having a little bit of honey to give your brain, a little bit of extra fuel that it can easily access is also great for initiating tasks and creating momentum. So, this is the fun part. Now, I'm going to walk you through how I would apply all of these ideas. So let's go over to Trello. Now, let's be clear. You don't have to use Trello. You can use Notion. You can use a pen and paper. I don't care what you use. I care that you get results. I'm not dogmatic about the exact, tool that you use. You can use whatever you want. But this is what I use, and I find that it works incredibly well for me. And so now notice that the system that I told you about, where I break down every single thing for my YouTube videos, well, this is the system that I have for my YouTube videos. And so I have title, hook, thumbnail, scripting / outline, record a roll, and editing and uploading. And so what I can do is I can actually if I have an idea and say, my YouTube studio, well, look, there's the idea right here, and I can move it across very, very simply every time I complete a step. And so if I have 10 hours available per week, it's very easy for me to look at a glance and say, oh, that's the video I'm working on? Great. Now, you can actually have a lot of videos going at the same time. So, for example, 7 steps for, procrastination. That's another video idea. And the cool thing about this is that I can actually go in and start writing a script right away, blah, 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 and save it. And now I not only do I have a icon that's very clearly representing the video, I can easily access the script and all of the ideas for it. And so when I decide on the title and I decide on the hook, I can just move it over to thumbnail. And now it's a very clear visual representation of what I need to do and what's next. And so when I open up my Google Calendar, all I have to do is look at this and be like, okay, what's next? What is the next step? It's like, oh, script. I need to finish the script and the outline. I have my title and my hook, and the thumbnail is done. Okay, let's move it over and finish the script and the outline for this, right? And then I can easily schedule time, prepare, get some ideas from ChatGPT, compile it all, and then put it in here, and then boom, now there's a script that is ready. And next I can do record A-roll. Now here's the interesting thing. Recording A-roll requires a lot of different things. You have to set up your lights, you have to set up your camera, you have to make sure the battery's charged, and you have to make sure that you have a decent background and that the audio is actually going to be good, and things like that. And so if that's difficult for you and you find that you get distracted or nervous in front of the camera, or the setup takes a lot of time, here's what you can do. For setup for recording, you can create another category before this. And now your video is in set up for recording. So now it's even more specific, even more clarity, makes it easier for you to write out the first 3 steps, which makes it easier for you to start. And so say scheduling, maybe you only have 20 minutes to record a video. You don't want to waste that time setting up your lights and making sure that the audio is good. And so what you can do is you can actually schedule some time to set everything up, test the audio, run some test footage and make sure that the audio is going to sound good, it's going to look good, and that everything is going to be all right when you actually show up to record A-roll. You can finish that and then move it over to the A-roll section. And now it's like, okay, now everything is ready. I have prepared, I have planned, and I know exactly what to do when I show up and I sit down and start recording. And for B-roll, say you want to add B-roll to it, what you can do, again, is you can actually schedule a time slot and say, hey, before I start editing, I need to acquire B-roll for this video. So you can buy it from websites, you can shoot it yourself, or you can get it for free from websites. Like, it doesn't matter like where you get it from. The point is to create clarity with this, right? Is this all making sense, guys? You build things up and you break everything down into a visual representation of all of the simple steps that need to be required, and you can make it as specific as required for you and your personal taste. I personally have a B-roll section, an editing section, as well as a reshoots section. Sometimes I feel like my performance in the video when I'm looking at it in editing, it's like, I could do better than that. I want to reshoot this. I want to reshoot that section. I want to redo that part. No problem. I can schedule reshoots, right? And so this makes it very, very easy for me to keep track of what type of task I'm doing. First off, what the goal is, and then I can understand what the task is, and then I can approach it as, what I need, excuse me, I can approach this with specific tactics. So for example, I'm going to walk you through how I would go about making this video. And this is a video I'm actually going to make. So for title and hook, 7 steps for procrastination. Um, what I would probably do is I would probably have 3 or 4 videos here, and I would take this on my laptop to Starbucks. I would isolate myself. I would put in instrumental music, noise canceling, well, not, maybe noise canceling headphones if you have them. Put instrumental music in my ears. Order a coffee. The caffeine helps me type, which is very, very useful. Then I would sit there for 90 minutes and I would try to finish the title and hook of as many videos as possible. So now I have 3 videos with titles and hooks that are done. And then I would come home and I would go about my day. And then I would schedule, with if those are done, thumbnails. And I would schedule, and what I would do is I would schedule acquiring parts for the thumbnails and making the thumbnails themselves at different times. So one, I would schedule a shoot to get pictures of myself that could be half an hour to an hour long, depending on how much experimentation or how much I have to do to set it up. And then I would also schedule maybe 20 minutes to acquire items and different photos that I'm going to use to put the thumbnail together. And then I would schedule time for the thumbnail. So sometimes I can get it all done in 2 hours, or sometimes I can schedule it out over different days depending on what my days look like and how much time I have. And then for scripting and outline, I would probably schedule time to go back to Starbucks and just blitz the script, get everything ready. I personally typically only do outlines and then sort of riff on top of it after that. And then from there, it's just making sure that I have set up for recording. I record the A-roll. I find the B-roll. I will also plan out my B-roll in the scripting and hook phase so that I actually, because I want to think visually. I want to tell a visual story. And so typically I will decide what kinds of B-roll shots I want to go with my hook. That way it creates like a decent emotional connection with the viewers as well. But actually getting the B-roll and having it, that's like its own thing. And then once I have everything together, then I will do my editing. And so that is generally how I would apply all of this stuff to my videos. I understand that it's not going to be perfect and it doesn't need to be perfect. I'm still practicing, I'm still learning. 2, I create clarity by creating a system that is very easy to see, and so that I can organize my tasks very, very clearly. And so it's not just make a YouTube video. Oh my God, I'm so overwhelmed. Should I do this? Should I do that? No, I know exactly what I need to do. I need to start with the title. I need to make a thumbnail. Then I need to make a script. And of course, you can put all this stuff wherever you want. The goal is not to make you like me. The goal is to help you be just like you. And then now that I have clarity on the tasks, I understand, oh, the type of work I understand, I apply, self-awareness and self-knowledge and be like, oh, this kind of work, I do that best with XYZ. For that kind of work, I need this amount of time, so I'll schedule that. For this kind of work, I need this. And then I just get the tasks done. I schedule them on my Google Calendar. I'm prepared. I have everything ready. I got the first 3 steps written out. And so when I sit down to do the task, I go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Step 1, step 2, step 3. By then, I have momentum and I'm off to the races and I'm getting things done. And then I have a visual representation when it's done. And so that each time I succeed, I get the satisfaction of moving it over. Look, oh, it's done. Oh, script's done. Hooray, time to set up for recording. Oh, hooray, time to record. It's very clear, it's very easy, and it's an actionable step plan. And that, my friends, is how I do it. That is how, in a nutshell, how I went from only posting 1 video per month, sometimes 1 video every 3 months, or taking a 6-month break, to posting 3 videos a week, more or less, and making entire hour-long presentations just like this for you guys. That is the method that I used. This works incredibly well for me. However, this is just a simplified version of what works for me. However, you might be different and you might need to apply different tips and tricks to this system in order to achieve the best results. So I'm actually going to give you a lot more anti-procrastination tips so that you can customize this system for yourself, and you can get those tips in this video right here. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I will see you over here to give you a very broad overview of the tips that you can use to beat your procrastination so that you can use them to start customizing everything I taught you in this video for yourself. I will see you over there.